Would your fans tell you where they're from? How do you know what country they're from? Do you say, hey, where are you guys writing in from?
It's usually like, you know, any sort of thing of like, I'll talk about a problem that I've been having and they'll be like, oh, that's such an American problem. And I'll be like, what do you mean? Like, how is it different where you're from? They'll be like, well, here in England, well, you know, this is what happens, or like here in France. And, you know, and then we just have like a dialogue of it. I got like, you know, every now and then chat like tries to get me to learn some German, and I'll just be like, okay, well, here we go.
Okay, so I'm loving this because I'm actually on your Twitch channel as we're
Okay.
doing this, and people have heard that. So Buffalo, Sydney, Australia, Portugal, England, Denmark, Texas, baby, Finland, New Zealand. I mean, this is just wonderful. So this adds a whole nother dimension of this global community that you are creating and that people are participating in. And I hope people realize that no matter where you are in the world, not only can you access Zem 92, but we are one group. It's called humanity. That's what we're trying to get across at the Dr. Joe Show. We're trying to move away from this idea that there's this separate group and that separate group, and we have all this conflict as a result. We're one group, and we can all enjoy the same thing. We can have fun. It doesn't matter what you want to have fun with, but everybody wants to have fun. Everybody wants to care about somebody. Everybody wants to feel valued. One of the questions that we ask, when's the last time you got angry at someone who was treating you with respect? I mean, think about it, right? When's the last time you got angry at someone treating you with respect? You don't. That's what the Dr. Joe Show is all about. We have an opportunity to look again at why we do what we do, who we are and why we do what we do. Instead of judging it, let's again look, again to repeat something, look like a spectator. Let's respect why people do what they do and just wonder. It's so much more rewarding to wonder than to worry. It's so much more important to be reflective than reflexive. And this is part of what you have to offer. You're just playing a game and people come and watch. I think it's wonderful. It's just wonderful what you're doing. Well, and here's this global community right here that is completely in agreement. They just really enjoyed doing what you're doing.
It makes a real difference in people's lives. We haven't touched on the charity streams.
Yeah.
Okay, let's touch on that. I think we just did.
Well, I don't want to make Zem brag, so I'll say that. So in the Ratchet and Clank series, there's a character by the name of Captain Quark who's like the lovable doofus who always screws everything up, but he's there at the end to help. And his voice actor, I believe, was it diagnosed with cancer?
It wasn't. So it was Alzheimer's, I believe, or dementia, or I'm gonna be reamed by my chat for not remembering this off the top of my head. I believe it was onset Alzheimer's at the same time that he got COVID. So he was in and out of the hospital all of 2020. It was really awful for him.
And so Zem has been holding these charity streams all for the benefit of this man.
Yeah, they I believe if I'm remembering the numbers correctly, the total and again an example of such an American problem. His family was charged, I believe it was $1 million in medical expenses over the course of 2020. And his insurance, I mean, he had a great insurance and it covered the large brunt of it, but his family still owed $50,000. So we tried to, I really am not the one who should take credit for this. It's the community who did it. I just happened to be the nexus of where it could all funnel into. I happen to have like the credibility to be like, hey, I'm the person who is connected to Ratchet and Clank. Let's do something for this guy. But we ended up raising a little over $25,000 for him over the course of a week.
Wow.
And I, it was actually the toughest part of it, honestly, was getting in touch with him. Because obviously, his Alzheimer's, it's a disease that only gets worse. So he's not going to be able to connect with me over this. So I had to find his wife, Janice, and that was a very, very difficult effort because she was off the grid taking care of him. And I happened to find the right people who managed to patch me through the right lines. And I was just like, hey, I just want to let you know this is a thing that's happening. Is there a way for me to get you to this money securely and safely? And so, I ended up getting the address, and it was as easy as just cutting the check at that point.
Mm.
So, and it took a lot of trust as well. I mean, people had to really trust me to handle that much money, which I really appreciated. But there were some people who did not trust me. There was actually there's forum pages on the internet for Ratchet and Clank, the fandom as a whole, where people would try to advertise my stream being like, hey, this is a thing that someone is trying to do. And the moderators of that forum page expressly banned any mention of me on the entire forum because they assumed I was trying to scam people because they didn't know they didn't know who I was. They didn't know that I was a longtime fan of the series, that I make a career playing those games. And they deleted all the posts. They banned, dozens of people were telling me I got banned for mentioning your stream. And so there were some hardships along the way, but we managed to make it happen all the same.
Yeah, and that's strange to me because don't you at least have a first name basis relationship? I like to think you've earned a few relationships with the people at Insomniac. Insomniac are the creators of Ratchet and Clank.
I not only am I on like a first name basis with a lot of them, I talk to a lot of them frequently on social media. Like I literally just had a conversation about Taco Bell with one of them, like one of the devs of Insomniac, or one of the managers of Insomniac on Twitter yesterday. Like, it's not uncommon for me to, and I've even flown out to Burbank, California, and I have done speedruns at their studio. And and obviously I'm not depending on Insomniac to give me the good word because they're a business. They have their own set of rules to live by.
Great business, though.
Yes, absolutely.
I think they've been voted the top business to work, the number one workplace in America, at least for 1 year.
I would believe it. I mean, it's especially in the video game industry. It's these days we're finding out more and more. There's a lot of companies
Nightmares.
that are rife, with like assault, like abuse allegations, things like that, of like crunches, manipulation of labor hours and things like that. And so to see a company that actually has a good reputation in the field is a breath of fresh air for sure.
Stretch the canvas, rush with madness. Is it sadness or just a show? Then go, 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 go.